So, good morning to all of you. I hope you all are staying safe at home. So, today I'm going to start with a new chapter, that is chapter 9 of Unit 3, and name of the chapter is Peripheral Devices. Before this video, I had posted an assignment. I hope you all have completed the last chapter of Unit 3, that was chapter 8. Today we are going to learn about peripheral devices. This is also a very small chapter, and most of the things in this chapter also are known to you because you all are learning these things since standard 4 or standard 5. Okay, so let's start with the chapter. Basically, peripheral devices are the combination of all the input, output and storage devices. It will not include all your processing units, the main core of your computer system, which is your motherboard, then processor and power supply, etc. It will include only input, output and storage units. Or in other words, we can say that all the components of the computer system which can be easily removed, external devices which can be easily removed and plugged into the computer system whenever required, are known as peripheral devices. Some examples they have given: optical disk drive, modem, Bluetooth, memory card reader, digital camera, monitor, printer and CD-ROM drive. Then some examples which they have told about input devices, output devices and storage devices. One by one we'll discuss about each one of them. So let's start with input devices. Input devices basically are those devices which are used to provide data and instructions to the computer. Okay. Some of the input devices, the very commonly used one is your keyboard, where most of the times when we have to enter some data, we will be using this keypad only or keyboard. In your laptops or notebooks, it will be on the main unit. It will be inbuilt on the main unit. But if you have an assembled computer, a desktop computer, their keyboard will be an external attachment to the computer system. In this chapter, they haven't explained it in to that level. They have told to refer to another chapter of keyboard. So I have taken some of the important points from those that chapter. Basically, keyboard, different exam types are available in the market, and the most commonly used is QWERTY keypad. You can see the alphabetical keys which are available on the keyboard. It starts from Q, W, E, R, T, Y. From there only the name QWERTY keypad. So the arrangement of the keys are like that in the beginning only you will get these keys. And the professional means the professional typist or the person who, like data entry operator and all, without looking on the keyboard also they can type on the screen. How is it possible? Because they have the methodology is known as touch typing. They sense the keys on the keyboard and then they type. There is also a method of keeping the hands on the keyboard, like the 4 fingers of your left hand should be on A, S, D, F, and 4 fingers of your right hand should be on J, K, L and semicolon. At the same time your thumb should be there on the space bar. So accordingly they find out the keys without looking on the keypad and they start typing. For this you need lot of practice. No doubt you can also learn it, but you need practice for that. In a general keyboard, there are number of keys are 104 keys. Okay, 104 keys. Then we'll discuss about the types of keys which are available on the keyboard. Okay, first is alphanumeric keys, where all your alphabet starting from A to Z, then capital A to Z or small a to Z. Then you have number keys which are available through the numbers just above the alphanumeric keys or through the keypad given on the right hand side. Okay, which can be enabled or disabled through the toggle key, numlock key. If numlock key is on, then you can use 0, 1, 2, 3, 5 from that keypad, or if it is disabled, you won't be able to type anything from that right hand side keypad. Okay, numbered keypad. Same way we have some functional keys like F1, F2, F3, F4, F5 up to F12. Then we have some combination keys like Control, Shift, Alt. These keys are known as combination keys because these keys cannot be used without a combination of another key. Okay, so we have some special keys, special characters, all the signs are there, some navigation keys are there, like all arrow keys, page up, page down, home, and all these keys help you to move from one position to another. That's why these keys are known as your navigation keys. Okay, so in detail this much was there about keyboard. Next we have mouse. Mouse is also an input device, but basically the name input, or at the same time it is a pointing device that lets you select and move items on the screen. The left mouse button is used more frequently than the right button. A single left click selects an item, while double clicking on an item activates the application. Again they are referring to unit 2 of part B. So few points from there I can explain to you. There are 3 types of mouses available. Like first one is mechanical mouse, which you all have seen. Then we have orthomechanical, and last one is your optical mouse. Okay, in mechanical mouse there was a ball under the mouse which used to control the pointer on the screen. But in optomechanical, ball will be there, but basically the movement of the mouse will be controlled with the help of light. So, okay, and in optical one, with the help of laser beam only, the mouse pointer is controlled on the screen. Then what are the different functions which you can perform with it? Like you can right click, you can left click, you can double click, you can scroll, you can drag and drop. These are the functions, the different operations which can be performed with the help of mouse. Next input device they have given a stylus. You must have seen, as you can see in the image here, stylus is a pen shaped device which is used to move on the touch screens. If you have to make some selection, if you have to drag and drop, just like mouse, instead of using that mouse on a big screen, you want a touch screen where a pencil type device can be used, then that is your stylus. It is basically used on game consoles like Nintendo. Okay, this is a game console where your stylus pen is used. Then comes scanner. It is also an input device that scans text, images and objects optically. What is the meaning of scanning? Most of the students are confused with this term. Basically, scanning means converting your hard data or hard copy of the data, whether it is in the text format or any image, to a digital format or to a digital image which can be displayed on the computer screen. There are 3 types of scanners available: drum scanner, flatbed scanner, handheld scanner. One more scanner was there, sheet fed scanner, which is not nowadays not used. In drum scanner, what happens? A drum roller like device will be there in the scanner where the paper is placed, and then the drum rolls for scanning or reading the contents on the page, and by rolling it on the paper the data is scanned. Okay, this is the most efficient and expensive scanner. It uses a rotating glass drum to scan. Drum scanners are used mainly in the publishing industry to print high quality images in books and magazines. Then we have flatbed scanner. This flatbed scanner is very much similar to your photocopier machine. You must have seen that on the photocopier machine we place the image or the page, then a light goes through that page and the page is scanned or xeroxed. Same way, in a flatbed scanner we'll place the image on the glass and then through the light it will be scanned. Okay. So which one we were doing? Yeah, types of scanners we were doing. Okay, so last one is handheld scanner. In this, a manual device, like you must have seen the handheld irons are there, steamers are there for ironing your clothes. Same way, a very handy device you will get which you can manually scan the image by dragging it on the paper and the image will be scanned. Okay. So these all are the types of scanners. Next comes barcode reader. Barcode reader is also an input device which is basically used in all malls and all, or any shopping complex where they need not go through the product, what the product is, what is the price of that product. They simply use that device and then they read the stripes combination of dark and light vertical stripes for reading the details of that particular product, what the product is, what's the cost of it, what is the manufacturing date. All those things will get displayed on the screen. So that was the purpose of barcode reader. Next input device is a joystick. As you can see, this is a joystick. You can compare its look with the gear of a car. Okay, with gear also you have gear number 1, 2, 3. This way you move that. Same way, joystick is also a stick with a ball on top of it, and it is used to move any object on the screen in all 4 directions: up, down, left, right. Okay, so these are used by different game centers. In Ranchi also, if you have visited Aqua World, there you will get the game center, and in few games you will get this joystick. Okay, and then microphone. See, nowadays while attending all the online classes, you use your headphone or speaker, which is having both speaker as well as a microphone. Okay, so if we talk about microphone, it is an input device which sends our voice to the system as an input, and all the sound files of computer which are recorded through microphone are given the extension WAV. Okay, microphone is commonly used in video conferencing, speech recognition programs, radio broadcasting, recording, and sound amplifying systems. Clear? Last type of input device given in your book is a light pen, which is very much similar to your stylus pen. It is a light sensitive pointing device. Remember, if this question comes that name any 2 pointing devices, then you can name one as mouse and another one as the light pen. Okay, it is a light sensitive pointing device commonly used to select or modify data on the screen. It allows the user to point on displayed objects or draw on the screen. Okay, so about input devices we have completed all the examples. Next class will start with output devices. By that time you all can start practicing the exercise of this chapter. By Monday I'll post the answer and you will get the correct answers of those assignments or the workbook or exercise given in your book. So thank you to all. Have a nice day.